DePaul versus St. Peter's Prep. Is this a bounce back game for St. Peter's Prep, or is this a bounce back game for DePaul? Can I give you some insight before you make your pick?
Go ahead.
Coach Shee, he studies tendencies. Just like he knows Joe's, he knows Prep, he knows Bergen. This is what this guy does. And he goes a little further than that, though. He goes far enough to make sure that his kids know it. And he quizzes them. He says, all right, when you see them in this formation, what do they like to do? When you see the back line up here, what do they like? And their kids got to
I think it's going to be more about Nicky. One thing about Nicky is he could look around and see all the stuff that they had messed with him last week and then start picking you apart. That's what's good about Nick Campanelli. But he's gonna have to score. You know what I'm saying? Because now you got to think St. Peter's Prep is angry about last week.
But DePaul showed you last year, whether it was against Bergen in that scrimmage with Ryan Butler, whether it was against Train at Joe's, whether it's against Heath. You get what I'm saying? Like, running backs is not really a problem for them. Like, they just played the best running back in the state. You know, he got off early. But, you know, they came out and they made some adjustments, and then what? So
no knock on Joe's, but you can't compare that guy that's calling that's pulling that trigger to what this other guy has that's at Prep with all the weapons around that season on the offensive side. I just think maybe, you know, it's in league play. So in league play, we all know each other. But for me, I'll have to go with St. Peter's Prep in that game.
We here in the studio.
A lot of these offers don't be that real, so it's not committable.
That feel like when everybody's getting their turn and it's not yours. Godfather, New Jersey.
You powerful, man. I ain't gonna brag, but that's what they said. I ain't say that.
Michael Ransom. Instagram is Top Flight Michael. Also Top Flight Legacy on Instagram. We have a full service luxury car transportation. We have SUVs, Cadillacs, Yukon Denali's. We have the luxury Sprinters. And we also have the access to the party buses. Anytime, any place, any people want to go, give us a call, give us a shout, and we'll take care of you. We hop in the vehicle and in a moment's notice and travel up and down, but we actually take trips out, you know, out a little further, wherever people want to go. Like I said, I always say, if it was a bridge in Hawaii, we would drive you there too. You know what I'm saying? We got a full team ready to assist you and whatever you need.
Welcome to another episode of Keep It a Buck. Last week we ended it off talking about some games we had coming up this week, which would give us an idea about what to expect going into league play. You know, we went out of league. You know, we had some teams that take their show on the road to try and prove that they was competing for national supremacy. Yeah. And we didn't do too well.
No.
The result is we didn't do too well. So
some big bumps, man. We had to cross, man. You know.
So as we sat here and spoke about last week, I said we'll get to tell what's really going on when everybody comes in the league. Again, first week, you know, first slate of games, I wasn't impressed with much. I thought the competition was subpar. I thought this week the competition was, you know, on par or a little bit above average. So we had some different results and scores. But now everybody's coming into league play. So this is the part I love most, right? Because now you're dealing with, you know, the kids that you know, you watched grow up, you played with, and you played against all your life.
Yeah.
So on a quick recap, I guess I'll start the show, man. We'll talk about Bergen, man, because Bergen was the only team to take their show on the road against national competition and play Jersey football. When I say Jersey football, Nas know what we talking about, because Nas likes to take it on the road and sometime act cute and then realize you got to put it all away and go to that Jersey smash football. Mouth. What's Jersey football?
Downhill records. Downhill, run the ball, smash mouth football, make them stop you. Don't get out of it and go cute. And they did that. They ran with their multiple backs they had and went downhill. Shout out to Bergen Catholic representing Jersey on the biggest stage.
Yeah, they damn sure made me proud, man. I'm watching that game and I could hear how the Cigarro announcers was basically saying like it was overmatched. They was like, you know, Swaro, the G is silent. Swaro's coach was quoted as pretty much saying, you know, Bergen has some really big kids, the type of kids that only grow on the East Coast. You know, I looked at those Swaro kids and they weren't physically what would give Bergen a problem. But I like to start out by saying Bergen's defense
It's stingy, man.
very stingy, and I feel like that's going to travel. And I'm going to be honest, like I said last week, I didn't think that a win or a loss, I said a win would boost your status. A loss I wouldn't hold against you. Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of feeling kind of hypocritical right now.
But no, you got the juices flowing too, what you said last week. I wanted to let you know that. Yeah. When you said that you don't care about the Bosco line playing against whoever, it don't matter if it's Bergen Catholic or whatever, you got them fired up about that.
It looks like it, and I'm kind of nervous, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to be honest, because I watched some public school boys down there in Florida, like, you know, they worked their boots, bro. Like, things was happening behind the line of scrimmage. I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? But I'm going to get back to the Bergen side of things. Respect up for Bergen. Respect is up for Bergen.
Much respect.
Not only because they won, but because how they won. And they showed consistency to their game plan and their identity for this year. Now, I'm going to tell you this. If the young quarterback, Vito's son, the young Campanelli kid, if he starts to grow during the season, because right now he's game managing. But what happens with game managing is you take your little shots and confidence starts to come.
That's right, that confidence.
If he starts to grow to where they're opening up that playbook, it can get scary for New Jersey. And I don't mean this year. I mean for the foreseeable future. And the reason why I say that is because if we allow Bergen to win 2 state champions back-to-back and arguably 3 in the COVID season, that really didn't count as a championship, that starts to spell dynasty. And like it or not, parents and children are groupies. They're going where the W is at. Even if there ain't a place for them to play at, they're going to go, right? So what that allows a team that's got that momentum to do is, you know there's going to be transfers, but you keep the cream of the crop. The transfers go and basically, you know, runner up to you. And that's what I see could start to happen if this kid really starts to figure this thing out and starts to throw the ball around, because right now, you know what they're doing. Double tight, 21 personnel. What you going to do about it? That's pretty much what they said. And if you say what you're going to do about it, okay, fine. You got that. We'll punt it. And now we're going to send them killers out here, that defensive team. And they score points, turn over. They just nasty. So
anytime you could run the ball like that well, and move the ball and then turn around and play defense, you're going to wear a team out.
Flat out. And what was impressive is the lack of penalties. More impressive than that was you go out on the West Coast, the jet lag, the time lapse.
That's why they went a couple days before.
Oh, okay. I thought they went the night before. I'm pretty sure they went the night before.
Wednesday they flew out.
Okay, Wednesday. All right.
They played on a Friday, right?
Yeah. And even still, that's kind of
close. They're playing it close.
Yeah, you know, because I know like Augie had the recipe. Augie used to, he wouldn't take a West Coast game unless they can play it early. Because we remember when Bergen went out to Matter Day and played at night, that didn't bode well for them. They won a championship that year. They ran through New Jersey, but Matter Day, I beat them by like 30 or 40. I mean, Matter Day does that to everybody. Yeah. But stock up on Bergen Catholic.
Shout out to Bergen,
you know what I'm saying? Stock up on Bergen Catholic. I said again, I wouldn't hold the loss out of state, you know, against you or not, but I don't know, man. Like that St. Peter's loss was nasty, you know, because it's one thing to get beat, blown out. You know, Bosco got blown out for the most part. We seen Joe's go get blown out. You know what I'm saying? But those were games. Those were games that at some point got away. You know, like you look at the Joe's game, they led that game. And then they had a bad 5 minutes in the third quarter where they allowed 21 points. That's things that a young team's going to do. A team that's starting 8 sophomores and 1 freshman, so 9 underclassmen total. Prep, why I chose Prep as my number 1 team is because of the experience they returned. And to go into the half with a 40 ball, like, so
no, a 50 ball. That's one
at
thing.
halftime, talking about.
It's closer to 50 than it is 40.
Oh, so we rounded.
So
now I was rounded to the nearest 10. That was kind of disturbing to me. It was very disturbing because it showed a lack of fight, in my opinion. But, you know, I'm going to defer to you. You were there. What did you see and what do you feel happened that day?
It looked like another team that really wanted it more than them. It looked like a team we were talking about that, and them going to play St. Thomas Aquinas.
They can afford another loss.
They played them that tough. So they might have looked at, no knock on Prep. I'm prepped out, but with the gear, I'm saying, right? So to be able to go to St. Thomas and play a team like that, they might have looked at Prep like they nothing like St. Thomas and just had that mentality when they looked at them. Do I feel like, did they catch St. Peter's Prep on a good day? Yeah. I don't think that's the definition of St. Peter's Prep, that game right there. I don't think it defined them. I think that they regroup. Like you said, now it's back to league play where it matters most. So now they get the chance to line up with DePaul. But watching that game, it was moving so fast where St. Thomas came out, scored right away, pass on the defense. Right? Prep came right back, answered. And then St. Joe's came right back, like touchdown. And then I think Prep began to get in a shootout. All in the same thing again, where I think they went like 3 possessions in a row without even running the ball. So not running the ball, and then what happens is you go 3 and out, and then now you're punting, score. And then they come right back. I don't think Prep stopped them not once that game. I think they scored every time they got the ball.
I mean, it looked like it from, I was away watching the game via Twitter, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Like I saw the 40-something to like 7 or 14. So I'm like, okay, game's over. It's fourth quarter.
That was 49-7 at halftime.
That I was blown away when I'm like, whoa, this is the half. Like, whoa, and again, I know St. Joe's Philly back was against the wall, right? Because they're not playing for a state championship. They want to be in the national conversation. And when you take a loss, you can't come the following week and follow it up with a loss, right? Because at that point, then you're just not a serious contender. Right. But what I will say that I wanted to talk about, you made reference to they caught Prep on the right day. How is there such thing as a right day when you play in a national team that you owe one? You let them off the hook the first time. You just watched them go toe-to-toe with St. Thomas Aquinas. And, I mean, by all measurement, like, they're ranked higher than you. So how do they catch you on the right? You're supposed to catch them on the right day.
Sometimes you got to control the game, man. Sometimes you got to look and say, like, it's getting too fast. Let me just pump my brakes and go through our thing instead of chasing. When you chase home runs and then you keep your defense on the field like that, it's going to keep going, man. Especially when you playing a team like that. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, so now I want to say to you, do you think they were a victim of their success from last week? Because sometimes you can get a false image of who you are.
If you go back to the last week, keep it a buck, we talked about it. St. Peter's Prep, they're the ones that got to score the 40. They high flying, scoring team. So it's not going to be a 13-7, something like that game. They're going to have to score the points. And obviously they didn't score the points, so look what happened with the game, so.
Okay. All right, moving on. So we had Bosco Prep go down to Florida, and they played in Orlando.
From Orlando, right?
Yeah, in Orlando. Edgewater. They played Edgewater in Orlando. And pretty much the recipe I had said to beating Bosco is exactly what happened. Bosco, even more so than Bergen, because Bergen has a great defense to rely on. Bosco has to not only control tempo, it's death by 1,000 cuts, right? Because when you watch that team, it's no real game breakers. Like, it's nobody who can take a 10-yard hitch 90 yards. You get what I'm saying? So they have to rely on their offensive line to take you down the field chunk by chunk by chunk. Penalties hurts a team like that. So when you're in a team like that and you get down by double digits, it looks insurmountable because you don't have the offense that can get it back like a Prep tries to do and just hit you over the head. And that's what they allow to happen down there in Florida is, they was balling, they was in a shootout for a little while, and then the other team kind of seized the game at some point. The running back that's going to Texas broke off a long run, and I believe eventually they went up by 2 scores, and at that point, Bosco becomes one-dimensional. And it just, for me, I just knew it was going to be hard to get that back down. And that it was raining down there. That's something Orlando kids are used to. It rains every day in Orlando. Yeah. Every day it rains. So they're used to wet footballs, maneuvering in that, and as well. So what I was also seeing is not only the lack of big playability, but the lack of athleticism to where you have these kids, going across the middle, catching a 10-yard pass, and just taking off for 80 because there's nobody out there fast enough to run them down. what I look at what Bosco's been able to do, not even just this year, you know, like outside of having Bergen, Manungai, and Giles and those guys, they haven't had a lot of athletic teams. And Sabella's been able to win anyway because he'll out-scheme you to death,
That's right.
So I expect him to get better. I expect him to learn from this. Big game from Nolan James. You represented yourself well out there, young man. Now we move on.
Can we talk about the Seton Hall Prep and
I'm gonna let you have the floor. So we had Seton Hall Prep and Pope John.
Shout out to
something I would have said. I would have thought just on GP Seton Hall Prep was gonna run away with that. I was so surprised to see that didn't happen. What happened?
Pope John came to play football. They was in a good game. Shout out to Fitz and Seton Hall, because when the game was on the line, you could see where the hunger came in at.
On the line. All right, let's recap. What was score?
So let's talk about it.
Final.
They come out, Seton Hall went up top on a young boy, Issa, and, welcomed them to the Big North. They caught a nice touchdown pass on them. Here come Pope John. Right back downhill running. They shared the backfield with the kid number 1, which is a heck of a linebacker. I can't think of his name off topic, but Talik Hill had another breakout game. I think he had like 180 yards, 200 yards rushing on Seton Hall.
He's a sophomore, right?
Sophomore, unstoppable.
Welcome to the party, Talik.
Yes, he was definitely on time, and he led the team running the ball, put the team on his back.
Talik, is that the kid that was a freshman last year that got some varsity?
Yes, sir.
Is he from Asbury?
Asbury Park.
Yo,
kid.
man, they need you out there, man. Asbury's struggling to put a team together, man. They need you.
He's in the right spot. So, just to watch him do that, like you said, a year ago he scored in every big game he played in, so I knew he had that with him. And watching him come out and going crazy, it brought them back. They ended up scoring. It was a touchdown, 7-7. Then they put together another drive, went down. They stopped Seton Hall Prep, went downfield, missed the field goal. My man Jack, man, we got to get that back.
Biting Pope
We got to get
last year.
We got to get that back, Jack. But shout out to Coach Dom. He kept the game plan. He kept it simple and went right downhill at him. And when the game was, shout out to another kid that was at on both sides, a kid named Jordan McAllister and Jalen McLean for Seton Hall Prep. Them guys, they had that grit in them, and they just had that will not to lose, and you could see it. And but they had a kid on Pope John. I had to give him his prop. His name is Sir Paris Jones. They call him SP, number 42. Kid was awesome at linebacker. Last year, he hurt his knee and was out all year, came back this year, did his thing. But I really feel like in my heart, and I'm going to keep it a buck, had Jazier Zealous stayed in that game and played all the way out, and he got hurt early in that game, they beat Seton Hall easy.
Easy.
Yeah, that's the truth. So I wanted to go into another game that we talked about, was that Paramus Catholic and Hudson Catholic game. Shout out to Hudson Catholic, Chris Johnson and those guys over there.
Yeah, Hudson Catholic had a running back that looked like Barry Sanders. I mean, I think the kid
Number
ran
6?
over 200.
Nas?
Number 6. He ran for over 200 yards. They had a very, very hard time with him. It was a shootout, too. I'm going to be honest.
What was the score of that game?
I got to pull it up.
Okay.
I'm going to pull that up.
We'll get to it.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I don't even think that should have been a game. I've seen Paramus Catholic's team. They have size. They have athleticism. They have everything you need. They are a typical Big North team. I understand that this is one of Hudson Catholic's better team. I also seen Hudson Catholic versus the Seton Hall Prep team that you just said struggled with Pope John.
Yeah.
So again, great team in there, right? But it's supposed to be levels. It's supposed to be levels. And I'm thinking that we got to slow down. We got to slow down with the expectations for Paramus Catholic, because when you bring in such a high amount of transfers, it usually takes a year to gel.
Yeah.
We're looking back in the living era when, Chris Partridge and them was able to come in and turn things around what seemed like right away, but that's not really what it is. It seemed like overnight, but that had been brewing. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
It just Jabril brought the focus to it, and now they win that year. But you had Najee, you had Shanley, you had Tyrone. These guys were starting as freshmen.
They've been there.
Taking their lumps, you know what I'm saying? And this is why we knew Paramus Catholic, even when Jabril left, everybody's like, oh, back to the dungeon they go. Like, no, it's just, this thing is just getting started because you still had those guys, Salim Brightwell, Dennis Muncher, Jamar Thomas. You know, these guys is waiting in the wings, you know, Drew Singleton, you know, and these was young guys waiting the whole time. Never played no freshman football, so the freshman team getting stomped out. People like Jabril's going. When most of the freshmen was sitting up there on varsity and scout, getting their lumps every day and was just waiting for these guys to go. But even when Jabril came, they stumbled. You know, Bosco beat them up. Bergen beat them up before they saw him again in the championship. You know, played tight games down the way. They've always struggled with St. Joe's. Yeah. So again, we look back, and whenever you look back, everybody gets better 15 years later. Like, you know, you were a better football player, 30 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Than you actually really was.
Hudson Catholic is not no slouches. Please don't sleep on Hudson. This is their team right now.
In that league, I'm sorry, bro. You can go with that. I seen them against Seton Hall Prep.
Okay.
They're not that. They're not that. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to tell you that, nah, they had no business letting that happen.
Gotcha.
You know.
Could we talk about the Joes and DePaul game?
So yeah, we'll get into the Joes and DePaul game. I thought I touched. Oh, we didn't touch on it.
We didn't touch on it.
Okay, so St. Joe's comes out with a new high flying offense. You know, we saw a bit of this offense against nationally ranked. What's the name of the team in Maryland? They played Good Counsel.
Good Counsel.
And it sputtered. This week, Drew Gibbs' offense was flowing. They're up at some point. They're up about 30
to 10,
38 to 10 or something like that, and end up winning that game like 38,
34,
30, yeah, something crazy like that. So I'm gonna be honest with you, they lost that game. If I'm the coach in that huddle, I'm not saying you guys did good, way to pull this out. That's, you know, I want to keep it a buck, so I want to say that's bullshit. You know what I want to say, but nah, bruh. That's not good.
Was it more of she defense?
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. Because, you know, at times I speak to some of these coaches before the game and after the game. And there's a level of trust that these coaches have to have with you to tell you certain things that they see and things such as that. So Sheed had told me from last year what the game plan was. And it wasn't no different this year. And the only difference is that Joe's has a new offense. So they came out and DePaul failed to tackle. You had the first pass go to John Foster. He takes that 98 yards. Basically, a pass that was thrown almost on the ground.
On his feet, right?
Yeah, he picks it up, breaks the tackle. 3 guys, smokes them on the angle.
I've seen that.
That's why that kid is getting the offers he's getting. Because when you're that fast at that age, people are interested. Okay, but the way DePaul's defense is set up, you know, they are very, very conscious of Night Train. They were very conscious. You know, Train is a grown man, so he's going to break certain plays here. But the objective is to frustrate him. And as the game went on, Joe seemed to lose confidence in their quarterback after a fumble in the touchdown that led. I mean, a touchback fumble. A fumble in his own end zone that led to 7.
A touchdown?
Yeah.
Okay.
Touchdown, 7. Then he threw a pick 6.
Ooh.
You know, and then when you really think about it, even the
the defense. So the DePaul Catholic defense was scoring points like that.
I mean, I started here before, and I told you because this is keep it a buck.
Yeah.
Right? I said Joe's will go as far as what?
As the quarterback takes him.
There's it. You know what I'm saying? When he was rolling, 38-10 was your result. I don't know what happened to him.
Did the coach pull the brakes off, put the brakes on him?
Nah. Like, so there was one play.
But you said Joe's had 3 backs. You said Night Train 2 touchdowns?
3 touchdowns.
3 touchdowns.
Yeah. So let me pull the stats up.
So you said Foster had 1, right?
Yes.
And then what the other back do?
Luke Tucci. So let's pull up their stats. So we have John Foster had 10 carries for 30 yards.
10 carries?
Yeah, he averaged 3 yards a carry. Right. Yasin Willis had 17 carries for 159 yards. He averaged 9.4 per clip. You know,
9.4 yards.
yeah.
Wow.
Luke Tucci had 15 carries for 88 yards. He averaged 5.9 yards.
Luke had 15 carries?
Yes, he had
Luke
one
had
touchdown.
15, John had 10, and Train had 17?
Their offense is rapid fire like that, you know. So, you know, this is why the quarterback is very important in that offense, you know, because if you can get a pass game going with that, that's tough, you know.
Yeah,
so we can go to the passing.
They putting that ball around.
So, yeah, I mean, you
So
figure.
you go to the passing now?
Yeah, Yasin Willis had 3 touchdowns. Luke Tucci had 1. Foster had 1 receiving. Passing. This is where sophomore Jovan Williams had 2 receptions for 11 yards. Sophomore Makai Rosagnow had 4 receptions for 35 yards. Sophomore John Forrester had 1 catch for 98 yards. Senior Luke Tucci had 1 catch for 6 yards. Total of 150. So it looks like they spread it out better with the running backs than they actually did with the receivers.
Yeah. So they still running way more than they putting it out there.
So you ask, how? What happened that you go from up 28 something points, 30 points to time was on your side? DePaul wins that game.
If it was more time
you give
left.
them 10 minutes.
Gotcha.
And it's the debacle in St. Joe's.
Gotcha.
And you know the quarterback has to be better. You know, I say the quarterback has to be better, and that was the theme all throughout the league for the most part, with the exception. And I want to apologize to you because now I'm about to work my way up. Manacucci needed to be better. He is at his best when he's rolling out. When he's rolling out, he's very comfortable throwing the ball. In the pocket, he's not comfortable at all, and he makes a lot of errant throws. Some of those hurt Bosco, because remember, that offense is dependent upon being able to move the chains.
My man said that too. Bosco going to go as far as the quarterback take them as well.
So that's what we saw there. I once said to you, all of the teams were even, in my opinion, and the reason why they were even is because the quarterback play, everybody was kind of on par. You know, I said everybody was on par. I said last year Steve Angeli
was
better than everybody else level. In week 2, headed into week 3, what I can say is, and this is our opinion, right? Keep it a buck. This is all our opinion, and it's subject to change at any moment. When you show us something different as a coach, as a player, the opinion changes. But right now, Champ is head and shoulders better than the rest of the quarterbacks. You know, yes, he has made his mistakes in the first game, but again, I attribute those mistakes to heat checks, because when you got almost 300 yards in the first half, why not go for 5? And I think that's what Luke Henrik got caught up in against DePaul, because on the play he fumbled, he should have thrown the ball away. He's rolling out. Brick City alum, Nate, last name Nate.
Nate Bailey.
Nate Bailey is supposed to run a certain route that he didn't run. You can see Luke trying to direct him to run it correctly. As a senior, you got to know the play is over. Throw it away. So he's rolling out, trying to signal to Nate where to go, and somebody hits him, the ball passes up, and it's 7.
Oh, wow.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, again, you got a freshman that ran the wrong route. That's a freshman doing freshman things.
That's right.
As a senior, you got to do senior things. When you see that's not there, you got to throw that away. So, again, that was a heat check for him. You got to think. On his first drive, he got 100 yards passing already. Wow. So where's he en route to going? So I think in his mind, he's pressing too. He's like, yo, listen, I got 100 yards passing already. I get him to take it to, I can get a 300-400 yard passing day.
Yeah.
And then it goes from that to experiencing a couple mishaps to where you go into a tank.
Gotcha.
And it seemed to me like they lost confidence in him as well, because that's when they started just handing the ball off, you know, hoping that clock, you know, roll
out.
Just, you know, my opinion in regards to that.
Could we flip into some of this public school Zone 6 classic?
Before we get to the Zone 6,
go ahead.
I want to talk about Irvington versus Millville.
This episode is brought to you by Keep It a Buck Clothing. Stay true to what you wear and keep it a buck.
Some people think what I do is easy, but they wrong. I'ma keep it a buck with you. I'm a different breed.
Move! Work. Good.
Stay true to yourself and what you wear. Keep it a buck. Yes, sir.
That game had a lot of juice to it because there'd been a lot of,
North Jersey versus South Jersey football, and the battle of the publics up there, because they would say that our private schools up here might be too much, but we was trying to explain to them about what the public schools may look like. Shout out to Coach Smoke and Irvington, always representing and holding it down for the backyard. Go out here and play this supposedly high-flying Millville football team with all these loaded studs, and your stud get negative receiving yards against these top DBs that we have up north.
Yeah, I had watched the game. I caught it late night on I believe MSG, and it was like a crazy size difference. I was blown away by the difference in size because I hear about the D1 recruits that Millville has and things like that, and they had some real tough. You can see they had some real tough, gamed, athletic kids. It was by no means a walkover, right? Irvington earned everything they got.
Yes, they did.
But I just think Irvington was just a little too much, just too much for him.
I mean, I'm more so on not going going at the Millville people. It's just that I hear too much of it, and they saying about how we can't play with them up north. So I was more on the edge for that game. Shout out to, like I said, shout out to Irvington and getting it done and smoking their boots. So
the irony in that, again, I'm not around for a lot of the North-South talks. You're in a lot more football circles. I mostly find myself out of the state repping the whole Jersey football, right? But if we're going to talk about North-South, there was multiple North-South games played. Northern Highlands played the South Jersey. North Jersey swept the whole thing.
Oh wow! I didn't even
know it was
that.
Multiple so that I think that it should probably be quiet for that. Again. And it doesn't mean that North Jersey has better athletes. I want to put that out there. North Jersey has better programs. They have better programs. Kind of like I said to you last week about Bergen. Bergen just wants it a little more than everybody else. They're doing just a little extra. I had an alumni hit me up and, send me some content and say, hey, acknowledge our content specialty, our content. They have a content team that puts out different stuff for them. That makes it attractive to young kids too.
Yeah.
Not to mention how nice their uniforms are and the helmets. Things like that matter on top of winning, right? And then you take out of state, you take a good amount of the crazies with you. That's culture. That's culture. And again, but when you look at that, they probably leading the pack right now on wanting it more. But North Jersey all falls in that mode of some level of replicating that system that Toll set. Toll is the father of all of this. Make no mistake about it. He put New Jersey football on a national map.
Yes, he
did.
He
gave us a recipe to be competitive nationally that pretty much everybody employs now, specifically up north.
That's right.
Specifically up north. And because of what's happening in state championship battle, you're starting to see southern Jersey schools employing these things. I do understand Donovan Catholic is Central Jersey. You got St. Augustine, South Jersey. Matter Day is no longer with us, right?
Shout out to Michael Thomas, man, Jr. at Donovan Catholic. Kid just had an amazing catch I seen out there, being that you brought them up. And shout out to his offer from Michigan.
Another 2025 kid, and I'm on the record every time I keep it a buck, the 2025 class in New Jersey is phenomenal. But I'm going to tell you something else. It's phenomenal throughout the country. Pay attention. Your son's a national recruit, so you're going to have to pay attention to this. The 2025 class is sick throughout the country, But the Michael Thomas kid is a part of that.
Dog.
He is definitely one of the top
Shout out
receivers.
to my man Dez. I got to give Dez his props.
8 catches for 116 yards. I didn't see where that was at, but that's Dez doing Dez things.
Shout out to
We're talking about
Dez,
Dez Jones at DePaul Catholic.
Yes.
Again, Quincy Porter for Bergen Catholic. He has a Michigan offer too. 6'4" wide receiver, sophomore 2025 class. Caught a touchdown on a fade in the back end of the end zone against Swaro. You know,
Gotcha.
so we got a lot of young cats really holding their own. Also, while we talk about 2025s, welcome to the party, Naeem Parish. I had the Bergen Catholic, faithful, telling me that he's a guy that we need to be talking to colleges about when we speak to the college coaches,
Okay.
and they're asking about. So I hadn't saw enough. He represented himself well out there. I like to see him, face to face to get a good gauge of, his size and how he's built before, I know what level of college that he fits. But as a sophomore, he came on, he made his name that day. He had some good tackles, good pass breakups. I enjoyed watching him play.
Got you. Could we get into that Zone 6 Classics?
On you.
All right.
Newark.
Northwest Side. We had Northwest Side versus Shabazz. Mauled them. Shout out to West Side. Shout out to my man Capo, a.k.a. Joshua Metal, and the quarterback at West Side. The guys was real nice. And I got to give props to my kid that's out of Shabazz. His name is Elijah Robinson. Kid was a stud. It was the whole team. Kid never played quarterback day in his life. Had to step in, play quarterback, safety. I really feel like he's a Division I recruit on the defense. Yeah, he got size. He like 6'1", DB. Think he's gonna be a tough kid, man. So
What class is he in?
he this year he's 20,
23?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's up
What's
now.
the name?
Elijah Robinson.
All right, we'll keep an ear out for him.
Yeah, and I just want to get into like the West Orange and West Orange played. I keep messing that up. Montclair. That was a battle with Essex County guys. Coach Grant was in a tough game and he pulled it out. Shout out to Karan Ali. He worked his tail off. If anybody could get you there, it's Coach Grant, man. Karan Ali, quarterback, drops back, 60-yard bomb to Sabur Kareem. Kareem doing his thing.
That's a game winner?
Nah, it was a tight game, so could have been. I think it was like 13-8 or 14-something. But it was a tough game, and West Orange pulled it out. Ion, I forgot his last name, but he had a big kick return, young boy. He in the 2025 class too. It's another one.
What's up with Jakai?
Jakai,
He's been around so long, man.
Yeah, he's like old man out there, but he doing his thing as well, man. I don't know if he got loose that game or how was it. I can't really tell you his stats, but he's a heck of a running back as well. And there was another game, Clifton High School. We talked about
East Orange.
Against East Orange campus.
And I don't know who ranked East Orange 5th in the state. Was it 5th or 6th?
What?
Maybe I was seeing some other poll, because I remember seeing a poll, and I'm like, who did this?
I seen a lot of public schools ranked though high this year though.
We gotta stop the foolery though. We gotta stop. I mean, I get we trying to sell newspapers.
Clifton smoked they boots.
But no disrespect, very few publics can play. Like you know what the top 6 is. And stop it. We need to stop it right there. Even with adding, no disrespect to South Jersey's teams up in the mix of that. Like, stop it. We know what it is.
And that West Orange, my bad, I want to give you, I forgot another kid too that's just, he's an underrated kid. People don't talk about him a lot. Special kid, always been special. Kid named Miles Sneed, number 4. He's just taking over the game with all these sacks. No, he never went to Bergen. He been at West Orange from the Red. Sneed. That's his brother.
Oh, okay.
That's his brother, the big Sneedy. So his little brother is now at West Orange going crazy. The Sack Master Flex, that's what they call him, Sack Master Flex.
I like that. I can get with that. So now we headed into league play, right? So now we have...
Right before we go to league play, because that's this week, right?
Yes.
All right, so one other kid I have to say from that public school setting is Aljamir Davis, one of the greatest kids that I've ever coached in my life. He plays for Hillside. He wear number 17. He set out last year with heart problems.
Oh, man.
Kid came back this year on fire. I'm talking about lighting the game up. Aljamir Davis, number 17.
Position?
Wide receiver, defensive back. And listen, he's going to do exactly what Blackjack did, right? 2 years of football. He's going to go crazy. 6'2", the most athletic guy I know. Aljamir Davis played for Barris Grant and Hillside.
Vance Matthews, been with Test Sports Club for 6 years. One of the senior performance coaches, working with the combine staff, everything football related. A couple of our alumni, Joe Flacco, obviously one of the greats. So this is our all-time leaderboard for Combine and Pro Day. So we've had a ton of success here in the past, and looking to keep knocking guys off the list as guys get faster and guys get better. So this is our field house. This is where all the training goes down for the most part. This turf in particular, we've had 200 plus guys sign NFL pro contracts in the game of football. A lot of facilities that just have turf strips. We have 60 yards by 25 yards of field space to be able to run more than just 40s, more than just 5-10 5s. We've held full positional sessions in here with throwing, catching, the ability to run full routes. DBs can get work in here. So we don't need a field particularly. We just make sure this field's open and we can get to work.
Ooh, looking forward to looking for that. All right, now can we get into
let's
league
get
play?
league play? Yes. Can we start with PC versus Pope John?
Let's do it. Hey, I'm going to refer to you on that one.
I'm going with the big Popey.
You going with Pope? You calling Pope John on that?
I don't
game?
think it's an upset. I think Pope John, they are who they are.
It has to be an upset because you picked PC as your sleeper
My sleeper,
program.
I did. I saw.
To win the state. So now you saying Pope John is going to beat them.
I don't think I was saying PC to win the state.
You did? Nah,
No.
you sat on
If
it.
I said that, y'all could bring that. I bring that back. What I said was Paramus Catholic was my sleeper team, period. Like a good team that was going to come out.
I know you got love over at Pope. I know your heart is there. But you going to do that to Paramus Catholic? Or is this more about Pope than it is about Paramus Catholic?
Nah, I think if Coach Dom keep the game plan going, believe in what he has, Jack is going to kick the ball. He slipped up last week. The defense is stingy, and SP and those guys out there playing like that. And with Jazier Azelis, God willing, he's back this week. If Jazier Azelis is back this week, and number 2 is back, both safeties didn't play against Seton Hall. Mm-hmm. So you add them back against PC, you're gonna have a game. Trust me.
I mean, I'm speechless on that one because, like again, I said, like in my opinion, the only issues PC got is chemistry issues because they got all of the players you need.
It better come.
They got size. They got speed.
It better come together this week. I'm telling you that. So prove me wrong, and I like that. We'll come back and I'll apologize later. But right now I'm going with Pope.
And again, I like to say, these is all our opinions, which are subject to change, as he just said. Prove me wrong. We come back. We straighten it out. All right. So we go from he just picked Pope John to beat Paramus Catholic. We got Del Barton versus Bergen Catholic.
Smoke they boots till continue. Shout out to Bergen Catholic.
He
no
said
chance.
to smoke they boots. I guess I gotta agree with you on that. I'm
Yeah.
going to respect up for Bergen Catholic. I already know Sean Pena and Dom. You know they sitting there. They watch everything, bro. And they come for heads, B. They come for heads. You anything sour about Bergen, you know they not far behind.
That's right.
Respect the alumni. Okay, so we'll go now. We have DePaul versus St. Peter's Prep. Is this a bounce back game for St. Peter's Prep, or is this a bounce back game for DePaul?
Oh my!
Can I give you some insight before you make your pick?
Go ahead.
Coach Shee, he studies tendencies. Just like he knows Joe's,
He knows
Prep. He knows Bergen. This is what this guy does. And he goes a little further than that, though. He goes far enough to make sure that his kids know it. He quizzes them. He says, all right, when you see them in this formation, what do they like to do? When you see the back line up here, what do they like? And their kids
I think it's going to be more about Nicky. I think it's going to be about Nick Campanelli. I think.
No. This is DePaul St. Peter's.
That's Nick Campanelli.
Oh, the older. Okay, yeah. Okay. So many Campanellis floating around. Lord.
So it's going to be more about
So you
Nick.
said about the offense.
It's going to be more about him scoring and doing
I
what he does. Now, one thing about Nick is he could look around and see all the stuff that they had messed with him last week and then start picking you apart. That's what's good about Nick Campanelli. Mm-hmm. But he's gonna have to score. You know what I'm saying? Because now you got to think St. Peter's Prep is angry about last week.
All right, so I got to ask you. Let's just be honest. I mean, at this point, there's a lot of big names on the St. Peter's Prep defensive back. Only Ryan Adams has really been holding it down.
That's right.
So now we have to say, you know, you
All
got
the-
Dez, you got the tight end. They got a 6'5" tight end that they love to go to, and they got a 6'4" receiver in number 13. I don't know his name, and I apologize for that. I don't see them being scared to test the defensive backs of St. Peter's.
After last week, that's what I'll be doing. I'll be going crazy.
And the
at him.
Grusa kid, I'm very impressed with him.
Okay.
I'll take the 2 picks he threw like you take them from Brett Favre, because he's going to give you way more good than bad being a gunslinger. Very impressed. He can move. He knows how to navigate the pocket. He extends plays, and he's got some short-handed receivers.
The difference with St. Peter's Prep, and no knock on, DePaul and my man Sheet is my guy. I just think that their offense is going to be too much for
The defense.
the defense. I feel like O'Flaherty, he's going to get the guys back, and hopefully, they'll go downhill a little bit, take some pressure off of the quarterback, and then use those weapons that they do have around them, because Prep has 2 good running backs, which is in the Giles kid as well. Giles kid can run the ball too.
I mean, but
think
DePaul
to-
showed you last year, whether it was against Bergen in that scrimmage with Ryan Butler, whether it was against Train at Joe's, whether it's against Heath. You get what I'm saying? Like, running backs is not really a problem for them. Like, they just played the best running back in the state. He got off early. But, they came out and they made some adjustments, and then what? So
No knock on Joe's, but you can't compare that guy that's pulling that trigger to what this other guy has that's at Prep with all the weapons around that season on the offensive side. I just think maybe, it's in league play. So in league play, we all know each other. But for me, I'll have to go with St. Peter's Prep in that game.
big.
I mean, you're going against Rashid, so he ain't no slouch, and Rashid ain't giving up nothing like that. So it's going to be a tough game.
Bounce back game for St. Peter's Prep.
Yeah.
Okay, then we have we got St. Peter's Prep. What's that? Bergen versus Del Barton.
We talked
about that one. We got St. Peter's versus DePaul. We got Paramus Catholic. We got Friday Night Lights. Don Bosco Prep versus St. Joe's. Don Bosco Prep coming off a big loss. They were the number 12 team in the country. Sort of like what we saw from St. Joe's Philly. They're in a position now where they're feeling threatened. You back a cat into the corner, and they got to claw their wrist. And they're at home.
It's tough. It's tough for St. Joe's. It's tough for Joe's to beat Don Bosco at Don Bosco. Not on a Friday night. I'm going Bosco.
Okay. What was the last time Joe's and Bosco played at Bosco? What happened? And the last time before that? Bosco's had more success recently at Joe's than they've had at Bosco.
I'm saying, was it Sabella there?
Yes, yeah. Aldrich on 300-something yards. Then they played at Joe's. Shout
out to Joe's, by the way. I love Joe's as well. I love Night Train and everything we got.
Long story short, in the last 4 years or so, Joe's has owned Bosco at Bosco, and Bosco has owned Joe's at Joe's.
I just got to see it. It's a Friday night. I want to see it.
So we're going with Chase Young and Chris Marino and the guys.
I'm going with those guys.
Okay, so we'll get back up next week on Keep It a Buck, see how these predictions went. I'm always going to defer to Nas because he's been around, he's seen it all. And more than anything, I love the fact that you don't just say something, you give up why, right? Yeah. So whether you're right or wrong, your reasoning, I like it.
I wanted to tell you, I like your gear. I like the Boston College attire.
Here we go.
Shout out to my man, my guy, Hayfley and Savon Huggins.
Yeah.
Doing a hell of a job up there. Love you guys.
Yeah, man.
But it's all about the R right now.
Yo, at this point, so, I got to put this right? Because, we dealing with the NCAA.
Okay.
I'm wearing my Boston College stuff.
I like it.
Shows a plan before results are in. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. But regardless to the fact, like I always tell you, you got to be true to those who truly keep it a buck, period. Those who show love to keep it a buck, we show love to them.
That's right.
All right? But with that said,
22-21. Big game,
hell of
tough.
A ball game. At home.
Rutgers,
that's a big statement for Rutgers, man.
Rutgers
you went away on the road.
College and got him.
Shout out to Kyle Monungai.
Shout
out to Al
Salam, kid from East Orange, and my boy.
Orange, yeah, man. Like I got goosebumps thinking of that, man, because
Shaquan Lawyer, Elijah Juan Mack, all the guys, man. I seen you guys on that defense holding it down as well, man.
And it was crazy. Did you watch the game as far as
I
the way they
couldn't.
use Johnny Langan? It looks like high school again.
And he's a captain.
when he was at
Shout out
Bergen.
to Langland, he's a captain.
Yeah.
Just that's how they've been using him.
So you know what's
They've
next
been
for
using
Rutgers?
him like that.
What's next for Rutgers? Who's next?
I think we got Wagner.
Okay, put him in the
Wagner.
books. Put him in the books.
2-0.
2-0. Hell of a start.
Sociano.
Hell of a start. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Augie, man. I see you with that old line.
Yeah.
You back where you need to be.
Yeah.
They look how they need to look. It's only gonna get better.
Let's go Nuns.
You know, but again, you gotta get with Keep It a Buck so we can rep you. You don't get with us, we can't rep you.
I think that's gonna be the next one. We're gonna bring Rutgers on the show. Keep it a buck.
Peace. Nas
Peace.
called it. Friday Night Lights. Don Bosco Prep versus St. Joe's. Don Bosco Prep coming off a big loss. They were the number 12 team in the country. Sort of like what we saw from St. Joe's Philly. They're in a position now where they're feeling threatened. You know, you back a cat into the corner and they got to claw their wrist. And they're at home.
It's tough. It's tough for St. Joe's. It's tough for Joe's to beat Don Bosco at Don Bosco.